What else we got, little LD?
I'm going to do our first ever two-parter call.
Okay.
That takes up 2 voicemails.
Okay, you're on thin ice. I hope this pays off.
This could be dicey.
That means we're guaranteed at least 4 minutes of a call. Is that correct?
That's right.
3 minutes?
That's part 1. So, Eldest, let's give him. Listen, give him the rope to hang himself
Like the fucking
with.
Lord of the Rings of calls. Let's do this. All right.
This better be good.
Hey, Stabby, long time, first time here. So I got a very sticky situation on my hand. About 17 years ago, I was in the Army, stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado. If you don't know, it's in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which isn't the best area. And one night, hooked up with a chick, didn't use any protection, fully busted inside, I will admit. I was a young, stupid man.
Damn, dude.
Come to find out a couple months later, she's pregnant.
Oh, pause it. Dude, the full bust inside a stranger? No. That's like a girl I've been dating who's like showed me her birth control. I'm nervous to bust inside. Yeah. You bust inside some lady you're fresh off the barracks, dude. You couldn't have thrown it on her back, brother? Jesus Christ. That's insane to treat yourself to a full cream pie with a stranger. What was it, your birthday? All right. I mean, I just don't. I met a guy. I had a friend. I had this friend of mine. So like, it's a crazy situation. He was supposed. Listen to this. He was supposed to sublet a room for 1 month. That month was March 2020. So instead of subletting for 1 month, I just lived with a pretty much stranger during the pandemic for 2 years. But anyway, got to know him. He was a good guy. He would just nut inside every woman he fucked. And I was like, what are you talking about? It drove me crazy, dude. He was like, yeah, I just do. I was like, what?
Those are my favorite ones. The ones who just say it casually.
Yeah.
The ones who are like, oh yeah, I come in everything. I'm like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You never learned that?
What do you mean you come inside every woman you fuck? That's insane, dude.
You not realize?
I can't, but people like that exist. So anyway, go ahead. Let's get to the rest of this.
She didn't want to go through the process to find out who the father was because she fucked around with like 5 dudes in the barracks. And
been bad for morale.
She didn't want to waste all the money of
the U.S. turns on each other
and getting our parental tests done. So years went by, and I kind of always kept up with her just in case, it was my kid.
That's crazy. This is insane.
Unfortunately, I, through just stalking her Facebook over the past couple months, found out she's dying of lung cancer. So
what?
Here's the issue.
Holy shit.
She's dying of lung cancer, and from what I can see, this kid really doesn't have anybody.
My God.
I'm fairly certain it's mine.
What?
Because there's
I was the only white guy she fucked. Anyway, sorry.
Distinct feature the kid has. When I was a child, I had flaming red hair. So does this kid.
This is like science from the 1400s.
Flaming just like mine as a kid. And I looked up.
Well, when I look at the moon, my eyes glimmer in the same way his eyes glimmer. Anyway, sorry.
Holy shit, Stavi, you were right.
Keep going.
Flaming just like mine as a kid. And I looked up the 4 other dudes from the Army. One of them's black. 2 of them are Latino, and the other white
She's
guy
diverse.
had black
I know, this girl's
hair.
not racist.
So my question is, do I message this girl? Do I get involved? I'm in a very good spot right now.
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm a veterinarian technician. I've been doing this for years.
I'm in a good spot right now. I've been stalking one woman I nutted inside for the last 11 years. I haven't really tried to work on a relationship with anybody else. Anyway, this is insane. Keep going.
But I'm also getting married in September.
Oh my God.
My fiance knows nothing about this.
What?
So I feel like dropping all of this on her would be fucking huge.
Do it at the wedding, dude.
Do I message her? Do I get involved? Do I just...
Oh my God. It's
Okay,
part 2.
Elvis, I got to give you credit where credit's due.
Yeah, this one's
You
good.
pulled a banger over 2. I mean, I'm
Well,
hooked
let's see
by
how
the end.
let's see how the next minute goes. I also love the idea of do it at the wedding. It's like, hey, you know how you said in sickness and in health, no matter what. Guess what, honey? You just fucking some fucking redheaded bastard pops out of a cake.
He's the ring bearer. Who the fuck is that? Sorry.
All right. Damn.
This is 17 years ago. This kid's 7.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's see.
Hey, Stav, I was just the guy who called. I got cut off about, this chick's dying of lung cancer.
The episode
The
recap.
Cliff Notes previously on this voicemail.
Sure, it's mine. My fiance knows nothing about this. We've talked. We never want kids.
Oh my God.
We have dogs and cats. What do I do? Do I get involved? Do I just let the situation go? I mean, this was 17, 18 years ago.
Oh.
I just don't know. Do I message her, say, hey, maybe I'm your kid's dad, but, she has terminal lung cancer. I don't really know the time frame, just stalking her Facebook. I'm not friends with her, so I only get limited information from this.
What?
What do you think, Stav? Do I do it?
I mean,
do
you've
I
nutted
not?
inside, right? I think it's time to send a
Do
friend
I just
request.
kinda go,
Holy fuck.
my life is different now. I'm not getting involved in this, but I mean, pretty sure this redheaded stepchild is mine. So
Holy
do I
fuck.
step up? Do I take care of him? Do I even message anybody? I don't know what to do.
This is
Big
insane
fan.
that you called
Love
me.
everything
This is
you
crazy.
do. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, I mean, talk to a
Hope you give
therapist
me
too,
some
please,
advice.
for fuck's sake. This is incredible. I mean,
It's insane.
This
in
is
my
crazy.
opinion, you gotta fucking do something. You gotta reach. I would reach out
But
to the
she hasn't
mother.
reached out to him, though, which is
know.
also
I
interesting.
I know, but he is the father.
I
You
don't
don't know that.
man.
Now you're
Yeah.
now you're engaging in like
She banked
you know,
5 guys that he says
he
she
knows of.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's to
That's
say there
weird.
wasn't a fucking traveling Irish step dance team coming through town,
Yeah.
coming through Fort Collins? Dun 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 dun.
I mean, she really did a United Nations thing with her badge. I mean, that's
He has
pretty
limited
crazy.
information too.
Yeah.
She could have a guy. Like she could have remarried in that time too, and that
Well,
guy could he could have a stepfather.
But the timing lines up.
I guess the timing
But
lines
she's
up.
not trying to find him.
That is true. I
And he
kind
hasn't
of
brought this up until now. Like
it's not like this lady reached out to him and was like, I think you're this kid's dad, or even this kid reached out to him. He only knows about it because he's looking at it.
It is
through
hilarious if he's
Facebook.
not the dad, and he's just like, I'm just the guy who came in your mom 17 years ago.
He takes a DNA test. This kid gets his hopes up in the middle of like the most
So,
traumatic thing
yeah.
ever. He's like, oh, not me. Well, I have to go get married.
or he tells his wife, and it's like,
And it
he
ruins
finds out
everything.
it's not-
That's the other thing.
And it's not
him and
his kid.
him and his fiance have planned a life where they don't want kids. Imagine you're this guy's fiance.
Yeah.
And the fucking 2 months before your wedding, this guy, who by the way hasn't told you anything about this,
Yeah.
and is having like a sense of, and you're right, we don't know
And
what's
he's
going
personally
on.
reaching out. Nobody else reached out. He would,
True.
but
But
he
he's
would be like,
clearly
"Hi."
eating him up inside.
I
You don't get a 4-minute voicemail without.
I don't know,
he
man.
needs to. I say just forget it, because it's like if she's not.
What if it's
reaching
your
out-
kid, though?
Yeah, but why? It's 18 years later. It's like he hasn't been a part. Nobody's reached out to him. He hasn't even tried.
It's
to
also
reach
a
out.
little different that it is 18 and not like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Like when it was not that it's good either way, right? But it's like this motherfucker's about to go to college. Like, does he want some guy in his life? And then it's like, I mean, unless what you're doing is, I don't know, giving him some money for college, like maybe something like that. But if these people haven't reached out to you at all, you also don't know what his support system is, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, his mom's unfortunately dying, and that is tragic, but does she have siblings, other family? Does she have a stepdad? Does he have people that he's close to? I'm not saying this is good, but also this idea that this guy is uninvited going to barge into these people's lives during an incredibly difficult, traumatic time where it's like,
I'm with you.
Does she want, and who knows, maybe this one's fucking gotten religious. Do you think she wants to know about she wants to be reminded of the time she was just fucking letting it loose on the barracks?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just, he's also, it's weird for him to have kept tabs but not reached out and like, he says it's 18 years ago, so it's like, what, you've sort of watched this kid, his behavior is strange.
Yep. It's so funny that I'm now realizing I'm reading into this the way I wish my biological father behaved. You should have reached out. You should say something. Maybe apologize.
Right, true.
No, but
like,
it's
but your situation is different.
It's different. And I also think this, I hope it's different. I hope my mom didn't fuck a whole bear. Jesus Christ. She's my mom thinks there was a black guy. There were two Hispanics. Like, stop it, Mom! For the love of God. No. So I do think, though, why not just take a paternity test? Reach out and say, I don't know. I would like to know if I am the father. I don't know. Maybe
I get it. I mean, no, you're not wrong. This is the other thing. There is no right or wrong.
I think he's doing this because he does want to, though. I think that's why he's leaving this message.
There is a little bit of that too. That is what I am picking up on, is that he does want to have some kind of relationship with this kid. And look, we've had this conversation has sort of come up multiple times where it's like, and we also kind of talked about the nature versus nurture thing. It's like, is this his kid? I don't think it really is. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, he wasn't there for this kid, and like now it took like a tragedy for him to like if this woman doesn't get cancer, right?
Yeah, does he
ever give a fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
And so, and again, I'm not saying that these are bad, but I also would just say, like, it's a crazy thing to drop this on. He's really potentially fucking up a lot of people's lives because of his guilt. He's potentially fucking up his fiance's life, who she is well within her rights to be like, what the fuck? We specifically said we don't want kids, and now I have to have a relationship with this person, this guy, this kid who maybe she doesn't feel positive about, but she doesn't feel negative about, but she doesn't feel necessarily positive about. And then it's like, I just don't know. I guess we don't have enough information, right? Because if it's a situation where this kid is about to get evicted and whatever, and he just feels some kind of need to just help him afloat, that's one thing. But I don't know. He's kind of barging in on this. It's an interesting. It's hard, man.
It's tough because it clearly is like, something that he does like feel guilty about and has thought about for years, and like just low key like cyberstalk, kept tabs on this woman. I think like that alone is why I would say like maybe he should just reach out, because he like maybe do a paternity test. Like, clearly he wants to know, and like he wants to like know conclusively like what's going on and stuff. But at the same time, it's like you're making a cancer diagnosis, someone else's cancer diagnosis about you.
That's true.
If you're like, just bringing this up and opening this whole can of worms while they're just trying to like, who knows what the health situation is. And the fact that no one's reached out to him, it's like, you don't know the support system. Maybe they're fine and they're just like focusing on the health stuff.
And focusing on the last few months of this woman's life.
Yeah.
You think she necessarily wants to spend it embroiled in a paternity case? This is something she's wanted to avoid her whole life. Now she wants to spend the last 3 months of her life.
And clearly she doesn't care who the father is.
Yeah.
Or she would have reached out.
The son might care. I mean, you're getting to that age where you do want to know where you came from.
And listen, if that's the case, then maybe the thing here is like, unless someone reaches out to you in this terminal
Do you think you should
time,
message the woman though? Maybe like he just messages the dying woman and be like,
if you're
hey,
dying and somebody from your past that you have on purpose kept out of your life reaches out to you, is that who you want to spend the rest of your, like, is that who you want to? That's going to take a lot of her energy. I almost, for her sake, feel like, I guess talking it through with you guys, what it feels like is, if someone reaches out to him, obviously you have carte blanche to do whatever, right? But if you really care about if you do care about the kid, whatever, then maybe the time is after, I hate to be morbid about it, but it's like after the woman's passed, after they've dealt with their own stuff as a family. Because it is, you're right, Elders, when you're saying it, like making somebody else's diagnosis about you. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know. I just know from putting myself in this woman's shoes, if a girl from my past, I mean, it's hard to, obviously you can't have a kid with I can't have fucked 5 women and then like I have a child, but whatever. But if like a girl from my past that I didn't want anything to do with reaches out to me over something similar to this, it's like, hey, I'm trying to be with my family. Like, I don't want to spend the time at lawyers' offices and drawing up shit like that. And if I did want that, I would be the one. I feel like at that point, you decide how you want to spend your time.
Right.
And if it's something where this woman, it's eating her up and she's like, fuck, I really want to just make sure my son is provided for, I'll go through this thing I wanted to avoid for his sake. But that's not what she's doing. So I don't know. It just feels like a little bit like right now you should stay out of it unless somebody, reaches out to you. And then if the kid ever reaches out to you, or if you want to later on do that, but you also don't know how this kid would react. We clearly, because we talked about this on a different episode, there is a split philosophy here of like how much being a biological parent means to someone. Me and Ian Fines had a big argument, and half the people are like, Stav's, which by the way is kind of my fault to wade into waters where Ian was my intellectual equal. That's on me. But it was a thing that's very emotional, right? Where it's like some people think, like the question was about like a sperm donor, right? And a sperm donor who had, the mistake they had made was they hadn't made a clear cut decision on like, how much the donor was going to be a part of the life. He's like friends with the people so he's around them. And now that the kid's growing up, he feels some type of way of like, well, this is my kid. I should have extra whatever. Whereas like they were lesbians. They're like, no, it's our kid. Like that's part of the whole thing. Right. And my view was always like, well, yeah, you're a donor. That's not your kid. Yeah. That's their kid. And and I guess this is different. Right. But there's a lot of people feel very strongly that just the biology gives you a really strong, like, claim on someone, right? And we don't know how this kid feels on that philosophical issue, because this kid might be like, who the fuck are you coming? Like, there's just too many variables here is what I guess what I'm trying to get at is the kid might be the kind of person who thinks, I really want to know who my biological father is and I want a relationship with him. That's a coin flip. The kid might be a kid who's like resentful of this guy and says, get the fuck out of my face, I want nothing to do with you. So right. It just feels like between the last few years of this woman's life thing and the being uncertain as to how wanted he even is in this situation from the mom or the kid, and we haven't even gotten into how it might fuck his life up with his fiance and how like kind of selfish it is to, promise her this wedding and this whole life without kids and then be like, I feel bad. So I don't know. To me, it's something you got to stay out of for now.
Yeah, there's not a good time to tell her any insight. You don't want to do it leading up to the wedding. You sure as fuck don't want to break it down in the honeymoon. right. You're in Cabo, honey.
It's kind of. I think honestly, he should just crack this open. He should reach out to the woman through Facebook. And
that's what my gut says.
Start with that, because he just knows too much to ignore it and be like. It's like, on the one hand, he's like not this kid's father because he hasn't been like part of their life. So it's not, he shouldn't do it out of like some sense of like, obligation. I have to take care of, this kid is 18. They're an adult now. So they've got their shit like figured out, but he just knows too much, man. It sounds like there's a good chance the kid might be his.
1 in 6.
He knows the mom's dying or whatever. And like, they're just,
I also feel like
there just is like no good time to say it, but it will like eat at him if he doesn't.
Yeah, I think as a kid you do want to know at a certain point, even if it's for bad, and you can make that decision that you don't want him to be a part of your life. But I think you want the option.
Yeah,
I also think from his fiance's perspective, it's crazy he thinks about this much and hasn't told her.
That's almost
that's
like what's going to get him, and that's going to get him into a lot of trouble.
Like that's the thing where
that's
it's like
be bad.
Guy who's also lied to his wife.
Yeah, I know, 100%. buddy, don't do it.
No, I mean, I see where you're. Sorry to cut you off. Do you have more, Gary?
No, I was just gonna say that I also have a redhead, so I'm like, this guy might be the father.
Yeah. Whoa, did this guy fuck your wife, Gary? Yeah, dude. I mean, I get what you're both saying, and you obviously having the perspective of not growing up with your biological father, Sam, is interesting for sure. I think the crazy thing is, like, there's just a lot of the not tell. I almost feel like the person he definitely sort of has to tell is his soon-to-be wife.
You got to.
Because it's like...
God, this is not going to end
It's not going to be taken well, I don't think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think so either. But
the one thing he has going for him at least is that if he's completely honest the way he was with us, and it happened long before they met.
Happened yeah.
And he could say, I'm not sure about this, but this is eating at me. I think if you make it...
Yeah,
if you
like,
present it in that...
Yeah,
in that
17,
context.
18 years ago, I had sex with this woman.
Yeah, it was
totally
pussy was
responsible.
awesome, by the way.
It was awesome.
She
Well,
gave
listen,
She didn't make me wear a condom or nothing. I just blew a fat load right inside her.
You know?
Just talk about the load a lot in great detail.
I think, I mean, just let it, man, I guess tell her.
This is tough. We're literally split down the middle of these two say reach out, and we're like, I don't know.
So you know what? You're the tiebreaker. So we didn't really help.
We didn't help at all, but we batted it around quite a bit.
Yeah.
I do think there is something a little dishonest to getting into a marriage. With like, it'd be one thing if this wasn't something he gave a fuck about, right? Like if this was something that he found out by accident, but this guy keeps tabs, and it's like, I don't know, man. If you kind of have to tell someone you're about to marry this thing, this huge thing that's kind of lurking in your life. This guy's just been kind of in no man's land with this issue. That's the weirdest, most fucked up thing is that. Forget it. I would know where he's coming from if it was like, look, this lady didn't want me in the kid's life, and I'm just never going to think about this again. I would respect that, or I would respect, you know what? You didn't want to get paternity tested, but this might be my kid. I have to know. Mm-hmm. I would respect that. What he's done, I actually really don't respect. I hate to say it because I know he's in a tough thing, but it's like, if you're out, why are you keeping tabs like this? And now that you know this thing, it's just he's kind of handled it the worst way, to be honest.
It's tough,
but it is.
He can't live on this situation on like borrowed time anymore because I feel like he just needs to like really do the scary thing and. Tell his fiance.
I think it starts with your fiance.
Starts with the fiance and it ends with one more load in the dying one.
She's like, hey,
she's dying. Going for the road.
The chemo's fried her pussy up. I'm not supposed to nut inside.
Oh my god.
Watch your son be a fan of Stav's world.
Oh no!
Daddy!
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that. Please, God,
I've done the show a few times. This is the most interesting one we've gotten while I've been here.
Without question. Holy fuck! It's way above our pay grade.
You pulled a fucking a diamond out of here.
Yeah.
Aldous. Well done.
Thanks.
There you go, brother. All right. Well, hey, man, we didn't really help you, but it sounds like we at least can all agree with you have to tell your fiance.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. She's also supposed, kind of gauge how she reacts, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that's another important domino. This really was a crazily layered question. The amount of different angles is insane.
Yeah.
If you were in this situation... Like from the jump, would you guys want to know if it's your kid? How do you think you would even respond?
From the jump, as in when it happened?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because then you probably should do something about it, right? So I
say he's 18 at the time. You're thinking a little different. You're like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was 18, I just wouldn't have kept tabs. I would have just been like, I would have Don Drapered it. It's my past, brother. I'm a different guy. Truly, I just know I would have, which, maybe I'm a bad guy, but that is how I would.
Yeah,
if this lady didn't want me, it's like, well, thank you for the get out of jail free card. Yeah. And then I'm just living my life. But
I'm Stavy, baby. Dick Whitman?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah. If this is actually you right now,
it's tough.
But good thing it's not me.